Now let us discuss the topic direct and inverse proportions. Now let us take an example. For example, Rajesh is preparing tea for himself and his sister. So he is preparing the tea for two persons, for himself and his sister, and he is taking 300 milliliters of water and 80 milliliters of milk, two teaspoons of tea leaves, and 3 teaspoons of sugar. So he is taking the 300 ml of water, 80 ml of milk, 2 teaspoons of tea leaves and 3 teaspoons of sugar. Then for example, he wants to prepare the tea for 6 persons. Now here he is preparing the tea for 2 persons. Then if he wants to prepare the tea for 6 persons, then how much quantity of each should be taken? So again we cannot take the same quantity of water and the same quantity of milk, teaspoons, same 2 teaspoons of tea leaves and 3 teaspoons of sugar. So he has to increase each item. Then how he has to increase? Now let us see some other situations which we face in day-to-day life. That for example, if the number of articles and the total cost. So if you increase the number of articles, then their cost also will be increased. Or if you decrease the number of articles purchased, then their total cost also decreases. And the amount deposited and interest earned. So these are also changing that. If you deposit the more amount, even you will earn the more interest. So if you deposit the less amount, then you will earn the less interest. Now let us take another example. Speed of vehicle and time taken to cover certain distance. If you increase the speed of the vehicle, then time taken to cover a certain distance will be less. Or if you decrease the speed of the vehicle, then it will take more time to cover certain distance. So if your speed increases, then automatically time decreases. Or if speed decreases, then the time taken to cover distance increases. And let us take another example. Number of persons employed, time taken to complete a job. If more persons are employed, then it will take less time to complete a job. Or if less persons are employed, then it will take more time to complete certain job. So here also these two examples and these two examples. So if a quantity increases, then automatically the other quantity also increases. Or if one quantity decreases and the other quantity decreases. In these two examples, if a quantity increases, the other quantity decreases. Or if a quantity decreases, then the other quantity increases. Means the change in one quantity leads to the change in other quantity. Then the two quantities are said to be in a proportion. So these are two proportions. One is direct proportion and the other is inverse proportion. Now let us see what is a direct proportion and what is an inverse proportion. Now let us discuss what is direct proportion. So let us take an example to understand direct proportion. Now in the table, the first row is given that weight of sugar in kilograms, and in the second row the cost of sugar in rupees. Means the sugar weighs 1 kg, then its cost is 30 rupees. So if you take 3 kgs of sugar, then what is the cost of sugar? See here, 1 is multiplied by 3, then 30 also multiplied by 3, then we get 90 rupees. Then what is the cost of 5 kilograms of sugar? See here, 1 is multiplied by 5, then we get 30 into 5. So we get 30 into 5, 150 rupees. If the weight of sugar is 6 kilograms, then what is the weight? What is the cost of 6 kilograms of sugar? Then how to find the cost of 6 kilograms of sugar? Then here 1 is multiplied by 6. Then at the same time we can multiply 30 by 6. Then we get that 180 rupees. Then the weight of sugar is 80 kilograms. Then what is the weight of 8 kilograms of sugar? Thirty into 8 is 240. Now let us take another example. Petrol in liters and distance in kilometers. So if your vehicle is using 4 liters petrol, then it is covering the distance of 40 kilometers. If the same vehicle uses 8 liters of petrol, then how much distance does it cover? So here, how you got 8? We multiplied 4 by 2. Then here also 40 is multiplied by 2. Then we get 80. So if the petrol uses is 8 liters, then it is covering 80 kilometers of distance. Next, if the vehicle uses 12 liters of petrol, so how much distance does it cover? So it is multiplied by 3. So then also 40 into 3, 120. Next, so similarly we can find when a vehicle uses 15 liters of petrol, 20 liters of petrol and 25 liters of petrol, then the distance covered by the vehicle. Now in these two examples we can observe that if one quantity increases, then the other quantity also increases, or if one quantity decreases, the other quantity also decreases. So the variation in one quantity leads to the variation in other quantity, such that the ratio between two quantities remains a constant. Now let us see this constant ratio of these two quantities in each case. Now let us take the ratio of x and y in the first case. So 1 by 30, and this equals to what is the ratio between two quantities in the second case? So 3 by 90. If we cancel 3 ones are 3 30s are, so this equals to 1 by 30. And let us find the ratio between these two quantities in third case. That means 5 by 150. So 5 by 150 equals to 5 ones are 5 30s are 150. So this equals to 1 by 30. So these two quantities are either increasing or decreasing in such a manner that the ratio between the two quantities remains a constant. So in each case we are getting that x by y means the ratio between these two quantities remains a constant. So that is denoted by k. And in the second example, if you find 4 by 40, so what is 4 by 40? 4 ones are 4, 4 tens are 40, this equals to 1 by 10. And in the second case, 8 by 80. 8 ones are 8, 8 tens are 80, this equals to 1 by 10. And in the third case, 12 by 120. So here also 12 ones are 12, 12 tens are 120, this equals to 1 by 10. So here also the ratio between two quantities x by y is a constant denoted by k. So in the first case, that constant ratio is 1 by 30, means k value is 1 by 30, and in the second case the constant ratio equals to 1 by 10, means the k value is 1 by 10. So if two quantities are in a variation that if one quantity increases, the other quantity also increases, and one quantity decreases, then other quantity also decreases, in such a way that the ratio between two quantities remains a constant, then the two quantities are said to be in direct proportion. So in these two examples, in the first example, the weight of sugar is directly proportional to the cost of sugar. In the second example, the petrol used by a vehicle is directly proportional to the distance covered. If the two quantities x and y are in direct proportion, then we write x by y equals to k. Now by cross multiplication we can write x equals to k into y. Then this can be written as x is directly proportional to y, means the change in the first quantity leads to the change in the second quantity such that the ratio between two quantities remains a constant. Now the two cases we can take, if one case is x1, then the other case is y1 next. In the second case, if one quantity this x2, then the other quantity y2, then we can write that using this constant ratio. So we can write that x1 by y1 equals to x2 by y2, or this equals to x3 by y3. So this equals to constant. Using this constant ratio we can find out if any quantity is missing. Now let us see in the second example, here y value is missing, so let us take, so this 12 is x1 and 120 is y1 and 15 is x2 and this we don't know, that is y2. Now let us take the ratio and we will find y2 value here. Now x1 value is 12 by y1 value is 120, this equals to x2 value is 15 by y2 value we don't know, so we will write y2. Now by cross multiplication we get 12 into y2 equals to 15 into 120. Now y2 equals to 15 into 120 by 12. So here we can cancel 12 ones are and 12 tens are. So then y2 equals to 15 into 10 is 150. So we can write y2 value as 150. So similarly we can find even the distance covered by the vehicle when it uses 20 liters of petrol and when it uses 25 liters of petrol. Now let us see a question. Observe the following tables and find if x and y are directly proportional. Now in the first table, x values and y values are given, that 20, 17, 14, 11, 8, 5, 2, and the y values are 40, 34, 28, 22, 16, 10, 4. Now let us check these two quantities are in direct proportion or not. So how to check whether the two quantities are in direct proportion? If the ratio between the two quantities remains the same throughout all the given values of x and y, then we can say that they are in direct proportion. Now let us check the ratio between two quantities in each case. So here 20 by 40, so that is 1 by 2, 21s are 20, 2s are, this equals to 1 by 2. So here 17 by 34, so this equals to 1 by 2, and 14 by 28, so 14 ones are, 14 twos are, this equals to 1 by 2. So this is 11 by 22 means 1 by 2, 8 by 16 1 by 2, 5 by 10 1 by 2 and even 2 by 4 also 1 by 2. So here we got that the ratio between x and y, a constant, that constant value is 1 by 2. Then we can say that these two quantities x and y are in direct proportion. So x is directly proportional to y. Now let us see the second table. In the second table also the x values and y values are given. Now let us find the ratio of these two quantities x and y in each case. Now let us see they are equal or not. Now here 6 by 4. So 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4. This equals to 3 by 2. Now the ratio of x value and y value in second case. So 10 by 8, 2 5s are 10 and 2 4s are 8. This equals to 5 by 4. Now here the ratio between two quantities is not a constant value in these two cases. So we can say that x1 by y1 is not equal to x2 by y2. So then here x and y are not in direct proportion. So here x is not directly proportional to y. If we want to show India on a map, then how can we show? Or if we want to show the world or any continent on a map, then how can we show that? But because the actual region is very large, so India has a very large region, then how can we show the large regions on the map? So then we usually choose a scale, and even for every map the choose will be shown on the bottom of the map. Then for example, on the map if you take 1 centimeter, then the actual distance will be, for example, 8 kilometers. Means the actual distance on the map is 8 kilometers. Then we will choose 1 centimeter on the map. So this map means it is the miniature representation of very large regions. Means we are minimizing the actual region and we are showing on the map. So here, for example, if you want to show India on this map, for example, from the distance between two points is 8 kilometers, then we will show only 1 centimeter on the map. So we are choosing a scale. So here 8 kilometers may be 10 kilometers or it may be 100 kilometers, but as per our convenience we are choosing the values. Now 1 centimeter equals to 8 kilometers means 8 into 1000 meters. This equals to 8000 meters, and we can convert meters into centimeters, and again 8000. So 1 meter equals to 100 centimeters. So this equals to into 100 centimeters. Here 8 ones are 8. So this is 8 lakh. Here if the actual length of the any region is 8 lakh centimeters, then we are taking as 1 centimeter on the map. So this scale represents, here 1 centimeter equals to 8 lakh centimeter. This scale represents that if the distance between any 2 points in the actual region is 8 lakh centimeters, then we are taking 1 centimeter on the map. If the actual distance is, for example, 16 lakhs centimeters, then what is the length on the map? So that is obviously 8 to the 16, so we can take that 1 to the 2 centimeters. If the length on the map between 2 points is 5 centimeters, then what is the actual distance between those 2 points on the actual region? So then what is this? So here 1 is multiplied by 5. So here also 8 is multiplied by 5. 8 5s are 40 lakhs centimeters. So choosing a convenient scale, so we will draw the maps which has very larger areas. Now let us solve few problems in direct proportion. Now here car parking charges are given that. So for 4 hours the charge is 60 rupees, and for 8 hours the charge is 100 rupees, 12 hours 140 rupees, and 24 hours 180 rupees. Now let us check that the car parking charges are direct proportion to the parking time or not. Now let us take the first case. In the first case, the ratio between two quantities 4/60 equals to 4 ones are 4, 4 15 are 60. This equals to 1/5. The ratio between these two quantities is 1/15. So if you take this is x and this is y. So if you take x1 by y1, 4/16, that equals to 1/15. Now the second case 8/100. So x2 by y2 will take now. Now here we can cancel that. 4 2s are 8 and 4 25s are 100. This equals to 2/25. And if you observe the third case, 12/140 means x3 by y3 equals to 12/140. Now here we can cancel 2 table. 2 6 are 12 and 2 7 are 14, 0. Again 2 3 are 6, 2 35. So this equals to 3/35. So here x1 by y1 is not equal to x2 by y2, and this is not equal to x3 by y3. So the ratio between two quantities means the ratio between the first quantity and the second quantity is not a constant in all the cases. So we can say that x is not directly proportional to y, or the car parking charges are not direct proportion to the parking time. Now let us see the next question. A machine in a soft drink factory fills 840 bottles in 6 hours. How many bottles will it fill in 5 hours? So we can observe that there are two quantities in this question. The first quantity is number of bottles filled, and the second quantity is time taken. So we will take these two quantities in a table. That the first row of the table is number of bottles filled and time taken in hours. Now it will fill 840 bottles in 6 hours. Now in the second case, how many bottles will it fill? So we don't know this value. Let us take it x, then in 5 hours. Let the number of bottles to be filled in 5 hours be x. Now if it is taking 6 hours to fill 840 bottles, then it will take less time to fill the less bottles, or it will take less time to take less bottles. Now if it is filling 840 bottles in 6 hours, then how many bottles will it fill in 5 hours? So the time is reduced here, so even the number of bottles to be filled also reduced. Now if one quantity decreases, then the other quantity also decreases, such that the ratio between these two quantities remains a constant. So this is the case of direct proportion. So we can write that this is a case of direct proportion. So in direct proportion, the ratio between two quantities remains a constant. So here we can write that 840 divided by 6 equals to x divided by 5. Now by cross multiplication we can write that 6 into x equals to 840 into 5. Now this equals to x equals to 840 into 5 divided by 6. Now we can cancel with 6 table here. 6 1s are 6, 6 1s are 6, 6 4s are 24, 0. Then x equals to, so 140 into 5, 14 5s are 70, 0. Therefore it will fill 700 bottles in 5 hours. Therefore the machine will fill 700 bottles in 5 hours. Now let us solve the next question. A loaded truck travels 14 kilometers in 25 minutes. So the truck is traveling 14 kilometers in 25 minutes. Now if the speed remains the same, means it is maintaining the constant speed, then how far can it travel in 5 hours? So what is the distance covered by the truck in 5 hours? So here the two quantities are there. One is the distance traveled or the distance covered by the truck and the time taken. So here also these two quantities are in direct proportion. Now what we have to find, how far can it travel? The distance covered by the truck be x kilometers. Now let us draw the table to understand easily. Now distance covered and time taken. So distance covered you will take in kilometers and the time taken you will take in minutes. Now the first, when it travels 14 kilometers, then it is taking 25 minutes. Then here it is maintaining the constant speed, so the speed remains the same. Then it is, how far can it travel in 5 hours? So here it is given that 5 hours, but it is to be converted into minutes. So 5 into 60 equals to 300 minutes. Then how much can it travel? You should find the distance traveled by the truck. So you will take that is x kilometers. Now if here, if it is taking 25 minutes, then it is traveling 14 kilometers. So if it is taking 300 minutes, means more time, then definitely it will travel more kilometers when it maintains the same speed. Means this is a case of direct proportion. Here the distance covered is direct proportional to the time taken. So here we can write, this is a case of direct proportion. So in direct proportion we know that the ratio between two quantities will be a constant. So we can take 14 by 25 equals to x by 300. Now by cross multiplication we can write that x into 25 equals to 14 into 300. Now x equals to 14 into 300 by 25. Now we can cancel 25 and 300. So here 25 ones are 25, 25 ones are 25, 5 is a remainder here, 50, 25 twos are 50. Now x equals to 14 into 12. So 14 to the 28, 14 1 the 14 plus 2, 16, 168 kilometers. Therefore the truck travels 168 kilometers in 300 minutes, means in 5 hours. Therefore the truck travels 168 kilometers in 5 hours. Now let us solve the next problem. Suppose 2 kilograms of sugar contains 9 into 10 to the power of 6 crystals. Then how many sugar crystals are there in 5 kilograms of sugar and 1.2 kilograms of sugar? So here also two quantities are there, the weight of the sugar and the number of sugar crystals. So let us check whether these two are in direct proportion or not. So first we will take quantity of sugar then number of sugar crystals. Now in 2 kilograms of sugar, here we are taking 2 kilograms, then the number of sugar crystals is 9 into 10 to the power of 6. Then if the quantity of sugar is 5 kilograms, then you should find the number of crystals. And if the quantity of sugar is 1.2 kilograms, then what is the number of crystals? So you should find these two values. So let the first quantity be x and the second quantity be y. Now here it is given that x1 and y1 values. Then you should find out y2 value and you should find out y3 value. Now see, for example, if the quantity of sugar is 2 kilograms, then it contains 9 into 10 to the power of 6 crystals. If the quantity of sugar increases, then definitely the number of crystals contained in the sugar also increases. So this is a case of direct proportion. Now in direct proportion, the ratio remains a constant. So we will take this is y, then we will find out y value. Now we can write that 2 by 9 into 10 to the power of 6 equals to 5 by y. So by cross multiplication we can write that 2 into y equals to 5 into 9 into 10 to the power of 6. Then y equals to 5 into 9 into 10 to the power of 6 by 2. Then y equals to, now we will multiply both numerator and denominator by 5. So we get 5 into 9 into 10 to the power of 6 by 2 into 5. Then y equals to 5 5 is 25 into 9 into 10 to the power of 6 by 2 5 is 10. So here 10 in 10 power 6, 110 will be cancelled, then we get now 25 into 9, 225 into 10 to the power of 5. So if you write, then y equals to 2.25 into 10 to the power of 7. So therefore number of sugar crystals equals to 2.25 into 10 to the power of 7. Now let us find the other case. Here if the quantity of sugar is 1.2 kilograms, then we have to find the number of crystals present in it. So again you will take the first case with the third case. Now here we can take that 2 by 9 into 10 power 6. Now we can write that 2 by 9 into 10 power 6 equals to 1.2 by y. Now by cross multiplication we get 2 into y equals to 1.2 into 9 into 10 to the power of 6. Now y equals to 1.2 into 9 into 10 to the power of 6 by 2. So here also if you multiply both numerator and denominator by 5, then we get y equals to 5 into 1.2 into 9 into 10 to the power of 6 by 5 into 2. Now this equals to y equals to now 5 into 1.2, 6 into 9 into 10 to the power of 6 by 5 2s are 10. Now y equals to 9 6 are 54 into 10 to the power of 5. So therefore number of sugar crystals equals to 5.4 into 10 to the power of 6. So there are 5.4 into 10 to the power of 6 sugar crystals in 1.2 kilograms of sugar. Now let us see the next question. Rashmi has a road map with a scale of 1 centimeter representing 18 kilometers. Means here 1 centimeter on the map representing the actual distance on the road be 18 kilometers. She drives on a road for 72 kilometers. If she drives on the road for 72 kilometers, then what would be her distance covered in the map? Means, so what is the distance covered by the Rashmi on the map? Now let us solve this problem. So here also two quantities are there. So one is distance in the map and the second quantity is distance on the road. Now if the distance on the map, if it is 1 centimeter, then what is the distance covered on the road? So it is 18 kilometers. So 18 kilometers, if we convert this into centimeters, then we get 18 lakh centimeters. Now if she drives on a road for 72 kilometers, if she is driving on the road for 72 kilometers, means 72 lakh centimeters. Then, so what would be her distance covered in the map? So what is the distance covered in the map? That we should find out here. So let it be x centimeters. So here also these two quantities are in direct proportion. Now this is the case of direct proportion. Now in direct proportion we know that the ratio between two quantities remains a constant. So here we can write that 1 by 18 lakh equals to x by 72 lakh. Now by cross multiplication, x into x into 18 lakhs equals to 1 into 72 lakhs means same 72 lakhs. Then x equals to 72 lakhs by 18 lakhs. So here we can cancel these 5 zeros and here also 5 zeros, and 18 ones are 18, 18 fours are 72. So x equals to 4 centimeters. X means the distance covered in the map. So therefore the distance covered in the map equals to 4 centimeters. So when she drives 72 kilometers on the road, then the distance covered in the map is 4 centimeters as per the given scale. So when the distance on the road is 18 kilometers and the distance covered in the map is 1 centimeter, so choosing this scale, so when she drives 72 kilometers on the road, then the distance covered in the map is 4 centimeters. Now let us see the next topic, inverse proportion. So let us see first what is an inverse proportion. If there are two quantities in such a manner that if one quantity increases, the other quantity decreases, and if one quantity decreases, the other quantity increases. Let us see that the number of people and time taken. So if you take more people, they can complete the work in less time. So if you take less people, then they will take more time to complete the work. So if one quantity increases, automatically the other quantity decreases. Or if the first quantity decreases, then the second quantity increases. Now let us take another example to understand this. The speed of the vehicle and time taken to cover the same distance. If you increase the speed of the vehicle, then it will take less time to cover the distance. If you decrease the speed of the vehicle, then it will take more time to cover the same distance. So here also there are two quantities in such a manner that the change in one quantity leads to the change in the other quantity, or if the first quantity increases, then automatically the second quantity decreases, or if the first quantity decreases, then automatically the second quantity increases. So now they are said to be in the inverse proportion. Now let us take two other examples to understand the inverse proportion easily. Now the first example is now the number of students and the time taken to complete a work. If there are 5 students, then they can complete the work in 48 days. Now if there are 10 students, then in how many days they can complete the work? So how you got 10 here? By multiplying 5 by 2. Then how did you get 24? By multiplying 48 into 1 by 2. So when you take twice, then here we should take half. So these 2 ones are 2, 24s are. So this equals to 24. Now here 15 is obtained by multiplying 5 by 3. Then 48 into 1/3. So when you multiply here by 3, then here you should multiply by 1/3. So 48 into 1/3, this equals to 3 ones are 3, 16s are 16. So they can complete the work in 16 days. So 15 students can complete the work in 16 days. Now 5 into 4 is 20. So when you multiply 5 by 4, we got 20. So here we should multiply 48 by 1 by 4. Then we get 4 ones are 4 12s are So 12 ones are 12. So here the number of students is 20, then the time taken to complete the work is 12. Means 20 students can complete the work in 12 days. We can observe that in each case the product of the first quantity and the second quantity is the same. Let us see in the first case. Now 5 into 48. This equals to 10 into 24. This equals to 15 into 16. This equals to 20 into 12. That is 240. In each case, the product of first quantity and the second quantity remains a constant. Now let us see the second case. Now there is a rectangle whose area is 160 square meters. Now let us take some possible lengths and possible breadths to get the area of the rectangle is 160 square meters. Now if the length of the rectangle is 20 meters, then obviously its breadth will be 8 meters, because 20 into 8 equals to 160 square meters. Now if the length is increased twice, means 2 times, so this is by multiplying by 2, then automatically breadth will be half. So here 8 into half equals to 4 meters. So we can write here. So even though 40 into 4, the area of the rectangle is length into breadth, so 40 into 4 is 160 square meters. And when the length is multiplied by 4, so 24s are 80, then breadth is divided by 1 by 4. So 4 ones are 4 2s are, this equals to 2 meters. Now the area is 80 into 2 is 160 square meters. So when the length is multiplied by 8, then breadth is multiplied by 1 by 8. So this equals to 1 meter. So in this case also the area of the rectangle 160 into 1, length into breadth, 160 into 1 is 160 square meters. So here also we can find that the product of the first quantity and the second quantity remains a constant. So here we can write that 20 into 8 equals to 40 into 4 equals to 80 into 2 equals to 160 into 1, that equals to 160 square meters. So in these two cases we can observe that the product of first quantity and the second quantity remains a constant. So let us take the two quantities as x1 y1. In the second case, the two quantities as x2 y2. Then we can write that x1 into y1 equals to x2 into y2 equals to x3 into y3 equals to a constant denoted by k. So in general we can write that xy equals to k. Now this can be written as x equals to k by y, and this can be written as x is inversely proportional to y. So x is proportional to 1 by y. So when the two quantities are in inverse proportion, then the product of first quantity and the second quantity remains a constant. So if the change in one quantity leads the change in the other quantity in a manner that the product of those two quantities remains a constant, then the two quantities are said to be in inverse proportion. So in these two examples, the two quantities are in inverse proportion, because if one quantity increases, the other quantity decreases, and if one quantity decreases, the other quantity increases in such a way that the product of those two quantities remains a constant. So here the two quantities are said to be in inverse proportion. Now if you take x1 y1 equals to x2 y2, and this can be written as x1 by x2 equals to y2 by y1. So in inverse proportion we get x1 by x2 equals to y2 by y1, but whereas in direct proportion we get x1 by x2 equals to y1 by y2, but in inverse proportion we get x1 by x2 equals to y2 by y1. Now Let us solve a problem. Observe the following tables and find which pair of variables are in inverse proportion. Now in the first table, the values of x and y are given. Now how to check whether the two quantities are said to be in inverse proportion? So let us find the product of the two quantities in each case. If the product remains a constant, then the two quantities are said to be in inverse proportion. Now let us find the product of these two quantities in each case. Now in the first case, so when you multiply 50 into 5, then we get 250. And if you multiply x value and y value in the second case, we get 40 into 6 equals to 240. So these two are not equal. Then we need not check for further cases. Then we can write that 50 into 5 is not equal to 40 into 6. So we can write that x1 into y1 is not equals to x2 into y2. So then the two quantities x and y are not in inverse proportion. So then let us check the second problem. Here x values are given and y values are also given. Then here also we will find the product of these two quantities in each case. So in the first case, x1 y1 equals to 100 into 60 equals to 6000. Now in the second case, x2 y2 equals to 200 into 30. This equals to 3 2s are 6, then 3 zeros. So this is also 6000. And let us check in the third case, x3 y3. This equals to 300 into 20. So this equals to 3 2s are 6, then 3 zeros. So this is also 6000. And let us check the last case, x4 y4, x4 into y4. This equals to 400 into 15. This equals to 15 4s are 60, then these two zeros. So this is also 6000. So we get here x1 into y1 equals to x2 into y2 equals to x3 into y3 equals to x4 into y4. Means we get x into y equals to a constant k. Means that constant value is here 6000. So the product of these two quantities x into y equal to 6000. So the product of these two quantities remains a constant. So these two quantities are in inverse proportion. Now let us solve a problem. If a box of sweets divided among 24 children, then they will get 5 sweets each. How many would each get if the number of the children is reduced by 4? Now there is a box of sweets. So in the box some sweets are there. Now here the two quantities are there, the number of children and the number of sweets each child gets. So if the number of children is 24, the number of children and the number of sweets each child gets. So these are the two quantities in this problem. But here there are the fixed number of sweets in the box. If 24 children are there, then each child gets 5 sweets. Means we can understand that 24 into 5, 120. So there are only 120 sweets in the box. So the number of sweets is fixed here. And if the number of children is reduced by 4, so minus 4 means 20. Then how many sweets each child gets? So this we have to find. When the number of children is 24, then each child gets 5 sweets. So when the number of children is 20, then how many sweets each child gets? We have to find this value. Now whether they are in direct proportion or inverse proportion. So obviously they are said to be in inverse proportion, because if there are 24 children, then they will get 5 sweets each. if there are only 20 children, then obviously they get more sweets from 120 sweets. So here this is a case of inverse proportion. In inverse proportion, we know that the product of two quantities remains a constant. So in this 24 into 5 equals to 20 into y, or we can write that 20 into y equals to 24 into 5. So when you transpose into 20 to RHS, it becomes by 20. So then we get y equals to 24 into 5 by 20. Now you can cancel 4 6 are 24, 4 5s are 20, and 5 1s are 5, 5 1s are 5. So then y value is 6. Therefore each child gets 6 sweets. So when the number of children is 20, then each child is getting 6 sweets. Now let us see the next question. A farmer has enough food to feed 20 animals in his cattle for 6 days. How long would the food last if there were 10 more animals in his cattle? Now he has enough food to feed 20 animals in his cattle for 6 days. So he has some food which can feed 20 animals for 6 days. So here the two quantities are there. The first quantity is the number of animals, and the second quantity is number of days. If there are 20 animals in his cattle, so he can feed the food for 6 days. And if there were 10 more animals, so 20 plus 10, then this equals to 30. So if there are 30 animals in his cattle, then how long he can feed the food for 30 animals? So you should find out the number of days. So let the number of days be y. Y. Now if he has 20 animals in his cattle, then he can feed the food for 6 days. So if he has more animals, means 30, 10 more animals means 30 animals in his cattle, then the food lasts only few days, so less than 6 days. So here this quantity is increasing, whereas this quantity is decreasing. So this is said to be in the case of inverse proportion. So this is a case of inverse proportion. So as we know that when two quantities are in inverse proportion, the product of first quantity and the second quantity remains a constant. So here we can write that 20 into 6 equals to 30 into y, or 30 into y equals to 20 into 6. Then y equals to 20 into 6 by 30. Here you can cancel 0 and 0, then 3 1s are 3, 3 2s are 6. So y equals to 2 2s are 4. So the number of days is 4, means for 4 days he can feed the food for 30 animals. So he can when the number of cattle is 30. Now let us see the next question. A car takes 2 hours to reach a destination by traveling at the speed of 60 km per hour. How long will it take when the car travels at the speed of 80 km per hour? So here also two quantities are given, that the first quantity is the speed of the car and the second quantity is time taken to travel the destination. Now the speed of the car is the first quantity, and time taken to reach the destination, that is the second quantity. Now we will write the values of the first quantity and the second quantity in the table. So when the speed of, now a car takes 2 hours to reach a destination, so it is, when it is taking 2 hours, then what is the speed of the car? 60 km per hour. Then when the speed of the car is 80 km per hour, then how long will it take? Then we should find out the time taken by the car at the speed 80 km per hour. So we should find out y value. So as we know that when the speed 60 km per hour, then the car is taking 2 hours to reach the destination. So when the speed of the car increases, then definitely it will take less time to reach the destination. So here if one quantity increases, then automatically the other quantity is decreasing. So then we can say that these two quantities means the speed of the car and time taken to reach the destination. So these two quantities are in inverse proportion. So let the time taken by be y hours. Now this is a case of inverse proportion. So this is a case of inverse proportion. So we know that in inverse proportion the product of two quantities remains a constant. So in this case the product of these two quantities, in first case 60 into 2 equals to the product of the two quantities in the second case, that is 80 into y. So then we can write that 80 into y equals to 60 into 2. Then this implies y equals to 60 into 2 by 80. So you can cancel here 0 and 0. Then 2 3s are 6, 2 4s are 8, and 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4. So y equals to 3 by 2. This equals to 1.5 hours. So therefore the car will take 1.5 hours to reach the destination at the speed of 80 km per hour. So let us solve the next question. A school has 8 periods a day, each of 45 minutes duration. So how long would each period be if the school has 9 periods a day, assuming the number of school hours to be the same? Now here two quantities are there. The first quantity is the number of periods per day, and the second quantity is duration of each period. So we will write those two quantities in a table so that we can understand. So the first quantity is the number of periods per day, and the second quantity is duration of each period. Now let us write the values of each quantity. Now there, if the school has 8 periods a day, so if there are 8 periods, so the number of periods is 8, then 45 minutes duration of each period. So we can write here 45 minutes. If the school has to be the same, if you assume that the school maintains the same hours every day, then if the school has 9 periods, if the number of periods per day is 9, then what is the duration of each period? So you should find out this value. So it is y. So let the duration of each period be y minutes. So when the school has considered the same, then if the number of periods is 8, then duration of each period is 45 minutes. So when you take more one period, means if the number of periods is increased by 1, then definitely the duration of each period decreases. So here the first quantity increases, then the second quantity decreases, so that the product of those two quantities remains the constant. So then we can say that these two quantities are said to be in inverse proportion. So this is a case of inverse proportion. So we know that in inverse proportion the product of two quantities is the same. So we can write that 8 into 45 equals to 9 into y. Then we can write this as 9 into y equals to 8 into 45. So then y equals to 8 into 45 by 9. So 9 ones are 9, 9 5s are 45. Then y equals to 8 5s are 40. So there are 40 minutes of each period, means duration of each period is 40 minutes. So when you take the number of periods as 9, so the duration of each period equals to 40 minutes.